So the third weekend of July, Victor, Colorado throws Gold Rush Days. There's a donkey race right down Main Street. Actual donkeys. I've always wanted to see this race for 3 years. And every year, I flat out forget until it's over. This year I remembered and planned for it. And I got so excited that I loaded up the truck, drove 2 hours out into the mountains, and I misread the flyer. The race is Sunday. I showed up Saturday. Here's the entire donkey population of Victor, Colorado, as witnessed by me on the wrong day. That's it. That's the footage. But I'm counting it. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have remembered. And honestly, I wouldn't have even made this drive at all. This year, I showed up with a plan. The plan was just slightly wrong. Wrong day, right mountain. Which, funny enough, is the exact opposite of what happened to the people I'm about to tell you about. They had the right day, and they had the wrong mountain. Victor calls itself the City of Mines, and it earned it. At its peak, well over 12,000 people. Stone buildings, paved streets, streetcars. 1/3 of all the gold in the richest district in Colorado came out of the mines on this hillside. And those donkeys I missed, their ancestors are the actual donkeys that hauled all of that ore for all of those miners. The miners left over a century ago, but those donkeys are still here. The donkeys outlasted the gold rush. I'll be back for them on the right day. I wrote it down twice. So quick gear check, because we are at 10,000 feet and there is zero shade on this trail. So we do have our Bash Dash sun shirt on, which is going to give us that UPF 50 coverage that we need. Luckily we do have a little bit of cloud coverage, but it's bringing in some rain. We also got our water, we got our first aid kit, we got everything that we need here. But if you watch my Trailhead series, you already know this. Be prepared for the trail. 2 miles might seem easy until you do it at altitude with no trees to give you any shade. So, let's go find some ghosts. Hand for real gold. No way. Grouse, know my name. We're walking up right now to the Teresa mine. Essentially, right away from the parking lot. You can see this one from miles away. This one feels like the iconic one out here, the picturesque one. And it's just the first one. There are over 500 mining features on just this 2-mile loop. This whole hillside is a graveyard of head frames. How cool is this? So how did all of this get here? Well, you have to rewind back to a rancher named Bob Womack. For 10 years, Womack dug holes all over the west side of Pikes Peak, convinced there was gold in this ground. People called him Crazy Bob. In 1890, he pulled ore out of Poverty Gulch that was valued at $250 a ton. He was right the whole time. Then, in 1893, the bottom fell out of silver, and thousands of miners across Colorado lost their jobs overnight. They all came here. Within a few years, this quiet cattle country became the last great gold rush in Colorado. Over 500 mines, more than 21 million ounces of gold. It made over 30 millionaires. Bob Womack wasn't one of them. He sold his claim celebrating in Colorado Springs for a few $100s. The man who believed first died broke. All right, this climb. You remember the talk test from the Trailhead series? If you can walk and talk at the same time without gasping for air, then you got a good pace. But if not, slow it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and slow it down a little bit. I've been going a little too fast to try to beat that rain that's coming, but I need to slow it down. It's okay. Just remember, nobody's timing you out here. To win is to finish. All right? Much better. Alright, this one's pretty cool. This is the Beebe house. 5 generations of the same family lived in this house. They stayed until the Vindicator mine shut down in the 1950s. Grandparents, parents, kids, all working the same hillside. The boom left. They stayed anyways. The old Cornish miners around here had a toast. May you stand in ore, and your labors be in vain. V-E-I-N. A gold vein. That was the whole dream in 11 words. Most of the people on this hillside never found the vein. They found shift work and winters at 10,000 feet and each other. And some of them, like the Beebes, decided that was enough to stay for. This valley wasn't just hard work. It got violent. In 1903, during the Colorado labor wars, a bomb was planted on the 600-foot level of the Vindicator mine, right here. It killed the superintendent and a foreman. The next year, the train depot at Independence, just up the hill, was bombed too. Miners and mine owners were at war over wages and the 8-hour workday. The gold made millionaires. It didn't make peace. Man, that's so cool. This whole place is just scattered with just mine after mine after mine. Look through this. That's a dead mine in front of you. And that on the hill behind it is a live one. The Cripple Creek and Victor mine. It's the only gold mine still running in the entire state of Colorado. Everything on this trail died. That one never stopped. Hold on to that. It matters in a minute. Time for the second trail of the day, Little Grouse Mountain. This one's just a couple minutes up the road. Now, the town of Victor puts colorful birdhouses all over their streets to point you to this trailhead, because there's somebody up there they really want you to meet. There she is. There's Rita. Rita the rock planter. She's 21 feet tall and made completely out of recycled wood. And look what she's doing. She's pushing the rocks back into the ground that I believe that the miners took out a long time ago. She was built in 2023 by a Danish artist named Thomas Dambo. This is his 119th troll. It took about 100 volunteers and about 12 days to actually build her up here at 10,000 feet. Dambo said himself that he believes that trolls pretty much nap for about 100 years. And when Rita woke up from her nap, she looked at her mountain and saw all of these holes everywhere that humans had dug up looking for shiny rocks.
and she didn't want anybody to pretty much fall in these holes. So she started planting the rocks back. Pretty nice of her. Dumbo never comes out here and says she's repairing what the miners did. He doesn't really have to, because look what's directly behind her. Patching 100-year-old holes while a brand new one gets dug up right over her shoulder. That artist just put her here and let you decide for yourself. He said, trolls believe it's rude to take a stone away from its family of stones. So Rita plants them back with their families. Okay, story time. You see that mountain over there? The one by Cripple Creek? In 1884, 3 con men pulled off a scam. They invited a reporter out here to essentially report on the strike of a century. What it really was they put a whole bunch of gold dusting in a worthless hole. However, it actually got thousands of prospectors to come on out here and start digging. But what they found was nothing, because there was nothing to find. It was just a whole bunch of salt in the ground. But get this, when the newspaper actually ran the story, they actually printed the wrong name for the mountain.
They actually printed Mount Pisgah instead of Mount McIntyre, where those con men actually put the gold dust.
So Mount Pisgah, sitting right next to Cripple Creek and right next to literally the richest gold ground in all of Colorado, took the blame and a lie for another mountain that is sitting an additional 15 miles away from something that never even happened. And that wrong name changed everything. For the next 6 years, Cripple Creek had the reputation of not a good place to find gold. Matter of fact, a historian named Marshall Sprague actually documented that the story made people laugh and that the ridicule was bound to injure Cripple. Nobody believed Bob Womack because everybody remembered the hoax. The lie didn't just steal thousands of dollars from prospectors. It actually stole 6 years from the truth.
So I've been walking through both these stories all day. A place where everybody stopped believing and the gold was real, and a place where everybody believed and the gold was never there. And I keep thinking about which one I was, because I've done this before. I've lost the weight once and I've gained every pound back. And after that, I didn't just doubt myself. I had proof. A closet full of clothes that didn't fit anymore. Photos I stopped looking at. A whole failed dig that said this ground is empty. Don't bother coming back. But look at what actually happened out here in 1884. 3,000 men dug in the wrong spot. Not because they were lazy, not because they were weak, but because somebody they trusted pointed at the wrong mountain, and when they came up empty, they didn't blame the lie, they blamed the ground. They walked away from 21 million ounces of gold, saying, "There's nothing here." Maybe that's your story too. Maybe your first dig was a 30-day fix somebody sold you. A shake, a pill, a plan written by someone who never carried what you carried. You dug exactly where they pointed. You gave it everything. And when it came up empty, you decided you were the empty one. You weren't. You were 15 miles away from the right mountain.
So here's my challenge to you this week. There's a trail or a goal or a version of you that you wrote off because the first dig came up empty. Just go stand on that ground again. You don't have to strike anything, but just look at it. Honestly, that mine behind Rita is the only mine still active here in Colorado. And it's on the ground that everybody laughed at in 1884. I don't know what's in your ground, and neither did they. What I do know is that if I can do this, so can you. Let's get outside. Let's enjoy this ride. Take care, and I'll see you on the next trail.